Chuck. This is your demo on how to calm down a dog that's a little bit over aroused during training. So it's not something I would do with Frenzy because she tends to stress down, so I don't want to calm her down generally. But with Havoc, obviously, he's a bit more of a higher arousal dog, so you can see he's already pretty excited to start training. But what you want to train essentially is this. So this is Havoc's default. If I have not asked anything of Havoc, he is going to do this. He's going to stand and he's going to hopefully give me eye contact. So what you're going to do first is we're going to have to resolve the issue of the emotions that she's feeling when training is starting, which is most likely just excitement. So what you're going to want to do is do a lot of arousal lowering activities. Right at the start. So if you're saying that her arousal goes up as soon as you pick up the treats, so you pick up the treats and that visually simulates to her that you are about to start training, and she kind of gets uppity and excited, you're going to want to do a couple of treat scatters is what I would recommend. So I would do a scatter right at the beginning. If he picked up his head and he was still a little bit too much, I would just do another one, scatter. But let's say he picks up his head and he's doing pretty well. I would move into a pattern game. My preferred one for this is going to be the up and down game because it keeps them right in front of me. So I would drop up my feet, wait for him to pick his head up, and I would drop another one, What I'm looking for here again is stillness, So what I want to wait for, is a dog that's able to pick up their head, and look directly into my eyes right away, Good. I don't want him going for the treat pouch. I don't want him going for my hand, that the treats come from or anything like that. I want to see a dog that's focused on me instead of the treats. Pull wide. Good. So once we have that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to spend a couple of sessions working on a default behavior. So again, when I've asked nothing of Havoc, what I expect him to do is this. He's going to stand and he's going to stare at me, and I'm going to reward him just for doing that. But why? Sometimes he sits. I don't mind that because I taught Havoc to sit. Frenzy will stand. So how you do that is you're going to get your dog, and let's say you've got your excited little puppy. She's kind of moving around everywhere. I'm just going to toss a cookie out. As he comes back in, I'm going to reward him once for my hand. Good. I'm going to wait a split second, and I'm just going to reward him for staying in his stand. Good. And then I'm going to toss the cookie out again. Good. And I'm going to do the same thing. Good. Reward him for that stand. He comes back in. Good. He gets rewarded for coming back. Good. And I wait him out. Good. What I'm waiting for here is eye contact. Good. Comes back in. Good. He gets a reward for coming back. Good. And then he gets another reward for eye contact. Good. And what you're going to start doing is adding in duration, right? Good. So as they get better at this, you're going to do longer pauses, waiting for that eye contact. And you want to make sure that she's standing the whole time. So if she comes in, she gets fed for standing, and then she tries to immediately go into a sit, you're just going to be quicker about your cookie tosses. So if he comes in, I reward him for standing. Good. And let's say he tries to sit. Just like that. Good boy. I'm just going to reward him for standing, and then toss another cookie. So we're going to try to beat him to the sit. I don't want him guessing what I want. I don't want to reward him exactly for what I want instead. Good. So we want to beat him to that. And you'll see essentially they just start to figure out, okay, you want me to come in, you want me to stand, you want me to look at you. Perfect. This is how you start to create that default behavior, right? Stand. Good. So eventually what this will look like is a dog that's able to kind of come into you and understand that when we start training, I just want you to stand and stare at me until I ask you to do something, right? So we use those cookie tosses and the coming back and the standing and the staring, and we just start building that duration. And then what ends up happening is, let's say this is the beginning of the training session. Right, so I've just started, I've got my clicker, I've got my treats, Havoc's in his default position. I would, instead of rewarding him for the default position, I'm going to actually do what's called a ready-to-work protocol. So a ready-to-work protocol is this idea of asking him for a couple of simple behaviors and seeing what his answer is to them, right? So I'm basically going to ask him, can you work? Through asking him, can you eat a cookie out of my hand? Can you eat a cookie off of the ground? Cool. Yes. I actually reward him with the work, right? So he knows that's his right work protocol, and he goes, what's next? So now I would get into the work, which for him today is going to be his muzzle, because he has a little bit coming up. Go muzzle. Nice. Good boy. And you can even do it again. So let's say he got distracted during the work. I would simply do a treat scatter, scatter. So he gets distracted, he comes back to me, let's do a scatter. Then let's start the ready to work protocol all over again. So can you eat out of my hand? I know he can. Can you eat off the ground? Yep. Yes. Good boy. Get. Good. Can you do both of those things? Cool. Back. Curtsy. Good. Muzzle. Nice. Good boy. Catch. So that's essentially what it's going to look like. Go muzzle. Good. And if I ever toss a cookie away, what I expect the dog to do is come back to their default position unless I've asked them something else. So during loopy training protocols, let's say I have like the Cato board set up and I'm tossing the treat as a reset to get her back onto the Cato board, obviously that's what she's going to do. But in any other scenario, if I toss a treat away, I want my dog to come back and just do that default scenario. Go ahead until I ask him to do something else. Go muzzle. Oh, I catch. Nice job for you. Catch. Good. What are you, boy? Go muzzle. Nice. Good choice. Catch. Good. Good. Go muzzle. Good. Muzzle. Yes. Go ahead. Ready? Muzzle. Go muzzle. Get in there. Get in there. Come on. Go muzzle. Nice job. Nice. Muzzle. Good. So a ready to work protocol should be something that's easy for them to do. So I'm going to show you what I do with Frenzy because it looks different for Havoc than it does for Frenzy. Muzzle. Good. Okay, all done. You did such a good job.